Tony Fauci. His head's not on a pike. I want to make sure everybody hears that. YouTube, Twitter, all you guys. Screw you. We could care less about you guys. Hate you guys. You're demonic. Just like Fauci's demonic.
And that is convicted felon Steve Bannon, referencing his previous calls for Anthony Fauci's head to be on a spike. It is a bit rich of Bannon to be calling anybody demonic, given the way that Bannon talks, acts, and of course looks. Nonetheless, here we are. Bannon continues to spew his hate and garbage and lies on his War Room podcast while awaiting sentencing in October. Early this year, Bannon was convicted on 2 counts of criminal contempt of Congress for defying subpoenas related to the January 6th investigation. Bannon's not really talking much about that and said he's focusing on Democrats and on Anthony Fauci and promising wide-ranging investigations into the origins of the coronavirus if Republicans take control of Congress.
Fauci, preserve your documents, baby. A lot of folks coming for you hard, dude. Everything you've done to this country, every lie, what you did with the CCP, what you did in Wuhan, it's all coming out. He retired to spend more time with his family. Well, the War Room, the great Brian Kennedy tells me, Steve, he ain't retiring. He's defecting, of course.
Defecting, says the former Trump White House advisor and conservative wingnut who arguably was a traitor to the United States. Steve Bannon encouraged the January 6th insurrection. It was Steve Bannon on his War Room podcast on January the 5th who said all hell is going to break loose at the U.S. Capitol.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. Just understand this. All hell is going to break loose tomorrow.
Bannon wanted protesters to go ahead and try to thwart democracy to block the election certification of Joe Biden. In addition, Bannon had lots of phone calls during this period with Donald Trump and others at the White House, and there were strategy sessions and meetings. And yet Bannon will not divulge any of that to investigators, and is certainly not talking about most of it in public. Instead, Steve Bannon simply projects and focuses on Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, and Joe Biden. All the while, Steve Bannon is likely headed to jail. Barring some sort of last-minute miracle appeal, Steve Bannon is facing a minimum sentence in October of 60 days in prison. He could get a maximum sentence of 2 years in prison for these 2 counts that he was convicted on. 2 years. Wouldn't that be something? Now, muting Steve Bannon even for a few weeks, although one hopes that it's a lot longer, but even if Steve Bannon is shut down just for a few weeks, that will be good for our country, because Steve Bannon's lies and his incitement of violence against Anthony Fauci and other Democrats, it's the kind of stuff that inspires crazy people to actually carry out violence, and somebody could get killed because of Steve Bannon. And yet there should be a place in our political discourse to actually have a rational and thoughtful discussion about some of the debates of the day, including the origins of the coronavirus. The fact of the matter is, it is incumbent on us as a country to try to figure out, well, what was the actual origin of the pandemic? Was there any research that was funded by the United States that led to this accident? Is it possible that some of the grants that were approved by Anthony Fauci and others somehow contributed to this pandemic? Those are all legitimate conversations, but you can't even begin to have those legitimate conversations when you have freaks like Steve Bannon who are spewing such violent rhetoric and making the debate simply bastardized. You can't have a rational conversation with people like that. And yet, we do need a rational conversation about so many issues in our political discourse. And to the extent that we're not able to have any of those conversations, Steve Bannon has himself to blame. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us. Tell me what you think in the comment section.